Do you struggle to manage your children's behaviour without getting angry? Are you tired of yelling at your children, only for them to completely ignore you and what you are saying? Do you want to learn effective and gentle ways of disciplining your children without resorting to anger, aggression, intimidation, or threats? If you have answered yes to any of these questions, then this episode is for you. As any parent knows, it is natural to feel frustrated or overwhelmed when your children's behaviour does not meet your expectations. However, resorting to negative behaviours such as anger, yelling, or physical punishment will do more harm than good in the long run to both you and your children. Not only do these behaviours damage the relationship between you and your children, but it also teaches them that aggression is an acceptable way to deal with problems. So, how can you discipline your children without anger? In this episode, I will share 7 tips to help you do this. Hello and welcome to episode 81 of the Anger Secrets podcast. As always, I'm your host, Alistair Hughes, and over the last 30 years, I've taught over 15,000 men and women how to control their anger, master their emotions, and create calmer, happier, and more respectful relationships. In this podcast, I'll share with you the same proven tools and techniques I've used to help my clients control their anger and transform their lives. For a free 30-minute anger assessment call with me, visit my website, angersecrets.com. In this call, we will discuss your unique situation and create a tailored plan to help you overcome your anger and improve your relationships. That's angersecrets.com. Now let's jump into today's episode on 7 tips to discipline your children without anger. Tip 1 is to understand your emotions. My first tip to discipline your children without anger is to understand and manage your own anger. As you know all too well if you are a parent, it is all too easy to react with anger when your children misbehave. However, many times this reaction is a result of the stress you are under rather than the actual behaviour of your children. To effectively discipline your children without anger, the first step is to take a step back from the situation you are in and evaluate how you are truly feeling. Are you feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or frustrated by things that are going on in your life? Is your child's behaviour triggering any unresolved issues or emotions within you? Do you have any unmet issues that may be contributing to your anger? By understanding your own emotions, you can separate them from the behaviour of your children and respond in a calmer and more effective manner. In addition, if you find yourself angry a lot, it may be helpful to seek therapy or coaching to address any underlying issues you have and learn healthy coping mechanisms. As you probably know, my online anger management course, The Complete Anger Management System, will teach you everything you need to know about how to control your anger more quickly than you may think possible. Tip 2 is to set clear expectations. My second tip to discipline your children without anger is to set clear expectations with your children. Many times, children misbehave because they do not fully understand what is expected of them. By setting clear and consistent expectations for their behaviour, you are giving them a roadmap of what is acceptable and what is not. When setting expectations, it's important to be specific and give examples so that your child knows exactly what you mean. For example, instead of saying, "Don't be rude," you could say something like, "When you interrupt me while I'm talking, it's considered rude. Instead, wait until I'm finished speaking before asking a question." By setting clear expectations with your children will be less likely to misbehave. Tip 3 is to use positive reinforcement. My third tip to discipline your children without anger is to use positive reinforcement. Like adults, children respond much better to praise and rewards than they do punishment or negative consequences. By acknowledging and praising good behaviour, you are reinforcing that behaviour and encouraging them to continue it in the future. For example, instead of focusing on the negative behaviour and scolding or telling off your child, try to catch them showing good behaviour and praise them for it. Some simple ways to praise your child include saying things like, "I really appreciate it when you clean up your toys without being asked," or "You did a great job sharing with your brother." By using positive reinforcement, you are teaching your child what behaviour is expected of them and encouraging them to continue it in the future. Tip 4 is to communicate clearly. My fourth tip to discipline your children without anger is to communicate clearly with your children. Children often act out because they do not have the necessary communication skills to express their emotions or needs. As a parent, it is your job to teach them how to effectively communicate and express themselves. When addressing misbehaviour, try to use I statements instead of you statements. This means focusing on how you feel rather than accusing or blaming your child for their behaviour. For example, if your child is throwing a tantrum, instead of saying, "You are being so difficult right now," try saying, "I feel frustrated when you scream and throw things. Can we talk about what's going on?" By communicating clearly with your children, you are showing them how to express their emotions in a healthy way. This will ultimately lead to better behaviour from your child and less anger on both sides. Tip 5 is to practice empathy. My fifth tip to discipline your children without anger is to practice empathy. Empathy means understanding and sharing the feelings of another person. By putting yourself in your child's shoes, you can better understand why they may be behaving a certain way and respond with compassion rather than anger. For example, if your child is throwing a tantrum at the store because they want a toy, instead of getting angry and scolding them, try to understand that they may be feeling overwhelmed or wanting attention. This can help you respond in a more patient and understanding manner. In this example, for instance, instead of getting angry, you could say something like, "I know that you really want that toy, but we can't get it today. Let's find a different way to have fun together." Responding with empathy will often diffuse a potentially explosive situation and help your child feel understood, leading to better behaviour in the future. Tip 6 is to take a timeout. My sixth tip to discipline your children without anger is to take a timeout for yourself if you feel yourself getting angry. Sometimes, no matter how much you try to manage your anger, it can still get the best of you. In these situations, it's important to recognize when you need a break and step away from the situation before addressing it. Taking a time out for yourself can involve stepping into another room, counting to 10, or taking a few deep breaths before coming back and addressing the situation calmly. Learning to calm yourself before responding can ultimately lead to better outcomes for both you and your child. Remember too that as a parent, it's important to model healthy coping mechanisms for your children. By taking a time out when needed, you are showing your child that taking a break and calming down is a healthy way to handle difficult emotions. Tip 7 is to seek help. Finally, if you find yourself struggling to discipline your children without anger, do not be afraid to seek help. There are many resources available for parents, such as parenting classes or therapy, that can provide you with additional tools and support in managing your anger and effectively disciplining your children. Remember, it's important to take care of yourself and address any underlying issues or emotions so that you can be the best parent possible for your children. Seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. In summary, 7 simple ways you can discipline your children without resorting to anger include: Tip 1. Understanding your emotions. Tip 2. Setting clear expectations. Tip 3, using positive reinforcement. Tip 4, communicating clearly. Tip 5, practicing empathy. Tip 6, taking time out. And tip 7, seeking help. By implementing these tips, you can create a more positive, respectful, and understanding family dynamic. And while parenting can be hard for anyone, discipline doesn't have to be about anger or frustration. Instead, it can be an opportunity for teaching, growth, and closer connections with your children. Okay, thanks for listening to today's episode on how to discipline your children without anger. And be sure to tune in next week to learn 3 simple steps to control your anger. If you found this episode helpful, please follow this podcast and head over to your favorite podcast app and leave a rating and review. This will help other people struggling with anger find and benefit from this show. Remember, for a free 30-minute anger assessment call with me, visit my website, angersecrets.com. In this call, we will discuss your unique situation and create a tailored plan to help you overcome your anger and improve your relationships. That's angersecrets.com. And finally, remember, you can't control other people, but you can control yourself. I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.
The Anger Secrets podcast is for general informational purposes only, and does not constitute the practice of counseling, psychotherapy, or any other professional health service. No therapeutic relationship is implied or created by this podcast. If you have mental health concerns of any type, please seek out the help of a local mental health professional.